Hello students, this is the Access Module 2 SAM Project A tutorial. So the screen you see now is I've already clicked on the link in Brightspace to bring myself up into Cengage MindTap. So you're at the initial screen. Two things I need to mention before we start. This is Access. Access is not available on Mac. You must be on a Windows 10 computer to complete this project. Also remember, at this point this should not be an issue, but you should be working in Office 2019. So our next step is going to be to click on Start. Now, it bumped me up to step 2 of 2 because I've actually practiced this project. So I'm just going to click back and go back to step 1 of 2. Now, you will notice you have an instruction file, a start file, and a support file. You need to click the instruction file and download it. Now, you can either open that instruction file on a secondary screen and follow your instructions from there, or you may print it. I am not downloading the instruction file right now because I have already downloaded it and printed it for myself, but you need to do so you have the words in front of you. The next thing you need to do is click the start file. This file you need to download and you need to open. If you happen to get this, go ahead and click Keep. And then you always want to open it, that start file. And make sure you click this Enable Content. Anytime you have this yellow bar, click Enable Content when we're working in a file such as this. Now, I'm just going to minimize this for a minute because we also have this support file. This support file, you are just going to click it, let it download, make sure that keep error doesn't pop up, which it doesn't look like it is. Okay, just let it download. You are not opening it. Okay, just let it sit in the download folder. Okay, so we have the files we need. If you need to pause this video so that you can print the instructions or get them situated or whatever you need to do before we go to the next step, go ahead and do so. That is the purpose of this tutorial, so you can start and stop the video as needed. So go ahead and pause if needed. Get yourself situated for the next step. I'm going to bring Access back up. I'm assuming you are ready to go. This is one of the longer projects. So if you need to do it in 2 parts, that's fine. I personally think it's better to finish once you've started. But I just want to let you know that up front. So we've opened the file SCAC192A. You see my last name here. The first thing we always have to do is change the 1 to a 2. So we're going to go to File, Save As. It defaults to this, and you're going to click Save As. You need to go to the folder where you save your class files. All right? I have, as soon as things get done loading here, here we go, Monroe Community College, Access 2019. I'm actually going to start another folder because when we load, I don't want it to load my file from yesterday when I practiced. Now, remember, you've got to get rid of this 1. So it just should say your first name, your last name. There should be the underscore and a 2, and then .accdb. Okay. This is the file extension, so make sure you don't get rid of that. Click Save. Once you do that, you should see the change in the file name up there. Okay. Now, if the enable content happens to pop back up, just click enable content. Now, in the directions, it says the third bullet under getting started says to complete the SAM project, you will also need to download and save the following data files from the SAM website onto your computer. So you've downloaded it. Just leave it in the download folder. To me, it makes no sense to move it for what we're doing in this project. You know it's in the download folder. That is where we will find it when we need it in the project. So just leave it there, okay? So the next bullet in getting started, the last one, is opening the grading info table. Okay, so we got to look to tables here. Grading info table. You should see your first and last name here. As long as your first and last name there is fine, close it, and you have a blank workspace again. Now we are on to project steps. Number 1, and I will start reading through these. Personal Insurance, Inc. is a national company that insures homeowners and renters. It also offers umbrella policies that provide additional coverage. As a regional manager, you need to be able to query the database to help make decisions and to answer questions from other employees. So the first thing we are going to do is create a query based on the customers table in Query Design View with the following options. Okay, so create should be your keyword there. So that means we need to go to the Create tab, and we are going to go to Query Design because it said do it in Design View. It didn't say use Query Wizard. So it immediately took us to the Query Design View. Okay. Then it said we needed to use the customers table. So when you're working in Design View, you can actually use multiple tables. They just want us to use the customers table. So we're going to click customers, we're going to click add, and then we're going to close this. Okay. The other thing they don't mention, you see how you've got a scroll bar here to see everything? It makes it a whole lot easier to work if you just use your bar there and just move it down to get rid of the scroll so you can see all the items that are available to you. Okay. Now, what do we need to do? So 1A says add the customer ID, and you can just click on these and it will fill in below, such as this. Double click and it added in down here. Okay. Then we're going to do first name, last name, and date of birth. Okay. In that order. Okay. Please note they want it in that order. Sort the records in ascending order by last name. So we're going to go down here to last name, and you see we have sort right here. Well, it's like, how do you sort? Well, when you click in the cell, you get a drop down arrow and it says ascending. So you just click on ascending. Then it says save the query using customer last name sorted. Please know no spaces, and please know where they're asking for capitals. So we're going to go right click, save, and we're going to say customer, capital L, capital N, capital S. No spaces. Click OK. Then we need to open the query in Datasheet View. Okay. And then close it. And if it happens to ask you about saving, we say yes. It didn't this time, so we're fine. Now, we're going to open the homeowners premium query in Design View. You will note throughout this project that the majority of the time we are opening the queries in Design View. Okay? So just get used to it. So this is number 2. Homeowners premium. Okay, here we are. Right click, Design View. And make the following changes to the query. Okay, we are going to delete the customer ID column from the design grid. Okay, so to delete a column, and they want us to delete customer ID, so you're going to click at the top of the column so it highlights it. And then up here in Query Setup, they have a delete columns. So you just click that once and notice customer ID is no longer there. Add criteria, so we're on 2B. Add criteria to select only those records from the premium field value. So you have to go to the criteria row. Premium field value is greater than 2,000. Now think about it a little bit. What is the greater than symbol? Okay, so we're going to put greater than, and then we're going to put 2,000. You do not want the comma. If you put the comma in, it's going to probably give you an error. Now, to make sure this takes, I always tab over to the next cell. Okay, that's just a thing I do just to make sure that it always takes. All right, save the changes to the homeowners premium query. So we're going to save, open it in Datasheet View, and then close. And you are going to notice these are the steps we're going to do on most of the queries. Is we'll save it, we'll open in Datasheet View, and then we'll close it. Some of the times they'll also say you should have this many entries in your Datasheet View. It didn't this time, but they will. So I'm just trying to give you a heads up where we're heading with this. Okay, number 3. Open the liability or property query. Please note there's a liability and property, and there's a liability or property. We want the or property. Make sure you do it in Design View. And add criteria to select only those records where the liability field equals 75,000. Okay, so we're going to go down to the criteria liability equals 75,000. Okay. Or, okay, now, let's talk about this. You should have read about this in the textbook. If you want the criteria to be something and, you do it on the same row. So if I wanted to do this with personal property and make it an and, I would be on the same row. But they want it to be or. So we're going to go down a row. See the or down here? That's what makes it or. Okay? So they want equals 75,000 in liability, or the personal property field equals 75. So we do 75 again. 1, 2, 3. And then just tab to make sure it takes. Save the changes. Open in Datasheet View and confirm that there's 3 records. Yep, we got our 3 records. Then close. And we're good to go. We are done with page 1. All right, on to step number 4. Open the comparison birth query in Design View. And make the following changes to the query. Add the first name field. So let's just add it first. Okay. the first name field should immediately follow the customer ID. Well, customer ID is down here. How in the world are we going to get this from here to here? Well, I'm going to tell you how. So we're going to highlight this field, but when we highlight it, we need to be able to see a black thick line right here. And sometimes it's tricky to get it just right, because sometimes you click it and you get just this. Well, that's not what we want. We want this. See that black line? Now, if I let my mouse up, the black line's going to go away. But I've got that extra black line besides the highlight of the column, which tells me it's ready to move. I am holding my mouse down, which is what's giving me that black line. Okay? Now, we're going to go over. I've moved it once. If I let go of my mouse right now, that's where it's going to go. But I don't want it there. It needs to go over one more time. Now, it's going to pop into right after customer ID. I'm going to let my mouse up. Voila! It is after the customer ID. Now I'm just going to click down here to get the highlight off. All right. And that's how you move a column. We're now on 4B. Add criteria to select only those records where the date of birth field value is less than 1/1/1950. Okay, date of birth. So we need to go right here. And now we want less than. Okay. And then we're going to go 1/1/1950. All right. Set the format to medium date for the date of birth field. Okay, now you've got to make sure you are clicked in date of birth to make sure you're on the correct format. Okay, so format's over here. So you're like, so how do I set the format? Well, when you click, you get the drop down again. Okay, so you're going to click on medium date right here. All right, we're going to set the caption. Caption, you just type in, no spaces, 2 capitals, birth, capital D, date. We're going to save the changes, open the query, and confirm the results match figure 1. This is why you need the instructions in front of you. Save, datasheet view. So you should have, I just look at the last 2 digits. 12, 2, 23, 32, 48, 28, 18, 27, 04, 42, 01. If you don't have those, you did something wrong and you're going to have to go back. All right? We are going to forge ahead because we're good to go. We are going to open the State City Sort query in Design View and make the following changes. 5A, move the state field to the beginning of the design grid so that the order of the fields in the grid is state, city, first name, last name. Okay, so you had your practice in the last query. Now you've got to do it yourself. We're going to go on this, and we've got our bold line there. You're holding your mouse down, and you got to take it all the way to the beginning. Let it up. Voila, we've moved our column. Now we need to sort the records in descending order by the state field. So we go to sort under state, descending, and ascending by city. So we're going to click in here and click on ascending. Save the changes to the query, view the query in datasheet view, and then close it. Save. Datasheet, voila, you can see that they are descending because it starts with V and goes down from there. So it's like going through the alphabet backwards. And then close. All right, now we are on task 6. This is the liability and property query. In design view, you should be getting used to opening things in design view now. And we are going to add criteria to select only those records where the liability field, here we go, equals 100,000. Remember, no comma. And, so that means it's going to stay on the same line. The personal property field equals 100,000. Oh, I didn't count my zeros. 100, 1, 2, 3. There we go. Save the changes to the query. And then we are going to open it in datasheet view. We should have 2 records. We do. And then we're going to close it. We are on to page 3. Yippee! All right. Task 7. Open the Michigan Customers Query in Design View. Okay, so we are going to go to criteria and we're going to put equals, equal, parenthesis, or quotation mark, MI, quotation mark. And then just hit tab. And then we're going to save. We're going to datasheet view. And as the directions state, there should be 7 entries. Then you're going to close. All right, step 8. Because customers of personal insurance reside in many different cities, it is often difficult to know the exact spelling of a city. Open the Customer City Query in Design View. So Customer City Design View. And add criteria to select only those records where the city field begins with the letters AL. I know that's sort of confusing because you don't know if that's AL or A capital I, but it's AL. Save the changes to the query. Open the query in datasheet view, confirm that 2 records appear in the query results, then close the query, saving if necessary. So, where we are going to be using the asterisk. And so what we're going to do is we're simply going to put A, L, and the asterisk. And because it's going to choose which ones start with that and just pull them all out, we're not using the equals. When you hit tab, watch what it does. It puts the word like in there, okay? That's why we're not putting the equal sign. Because it's AL plus whatever else might be after it. All right, so we're supposed to have 2 entries. So let's save and open in datasheet and see what we have. Okay, so we've got our 2 entries. So we're going to go ahead and close. All right, we're now on step 9. Many queries require data from more than one table. Okay, remember I told you earlier that we can do more than one table in a query. For example, you may want a query to display the customer last name rather than the customer ID for a renter's policy. Create a query in Design View based on the customers and renters table with the following options. Okay, so we have to create Design View, and it says we're going to use the customers and renters table. So we've got to add the customers table, add, and the renters table, and add, and we're going to close it. And then it says add the last name field from the customers table. Oh, we're going to scroll down like I mentioned before so we can see everything. Not that we're going to use a lot, but it's just a good thing to do. Last name from the customers table. Notice it tells you what table it came from, okay? Policy number and premium from renters table. Policy number and premium. Now we're going to join the customers table and the renters table by drawing a line from the customer ID field in the customers table to the customer ID field in the renters table. Now, hint, because the field names are identical in both tables, the line may already be there. Do not attempt to recreate the line if it's already present. It's there, okay? Save the query using customer renter as the name. I have to tell you, when I did this the first time, I actually made a spelling error and I got the whole query wrong because I spelled it wrong when I saved it. Just a point of making sure you spell things right as you do this task. Open the query in Datasheet. And then close. Because customers live in different states, it is often advantageous to create a query where you can change one criteria using a parameter query. Open the states parameter query in Design View down here. Add a parameter criteria to the state field to replace the current FL criteria. The new parameter criteria should prompt the user with enter desired state as the text. Okay, so we're going to enter desired state. And those are brackets, okay? And then just click to the next box. Save the changes. Data sheet, and it says to enter PA. There should be 8 records. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're good. And we're going to close. We're now on number 10. Open the top values property in Design. Modify the query to sort the property damage amounts in descending order. Change the return value to display only the top 5 records. Open the query in Datasheet View. Then close it. Now here it says, do we want to save? And we say yes, and we're all set. Number 12, open the total coverage query. Modify the query by creating a calculated field. So calculated field, you're going to go right over here, and you've got to type it exactly as it says in the instructions, and I'm going to be doing it right now also. Total, no space, capital C, coverage, colon, square bracket, liability, bracket, plus sign, bracket, property damage, no space, capital D, bracket, and then just tab. Save the query. We're going to open the query in Datasheet View. There we go. And you see it's doing it correctly. And close. Another page. Page 3 is done. We are now on page 4. Task 13. Open the average premium query in Design View. And perform the following tasks. Add a totals row to the design grid. So you just go up here to totals, and notice it says total there now. Okay. Select average as the calculation in the total row. So you're going to click on average. Set the caption to average premium for the premium field. So we're going to go over here and type in AVG space PREM. We're going to save, open in datasheet, confirm that it matches the figure 2. Again, you're going to have to look at your instructions, and then close. Yep, we're good. All right, task 14, open customers without homes query in Design View. Customers, here we go. Change the join property for the relationship between the customers and homeowners table. And you're probably like, what in the world? Okay, so this is tricky. You can right click right here and get join properties. Okay, so click that and you get this nice little window that opens up. Okay, so what they say in task 14A is what they wanted to do is to select all records from the customers table and only those records from the homeowners table where joined fields are equal. So we want right here, all records from the customers and only those records from the homeowners where the joined fields are equal. So we're going to click on 3 and click OK. And you'll notice that this line now is darker, okay? And that just indicates that of the changes we made. I'm not going to explain what all those changes did, but we did create them. Add the is null criteria for the policy number field. Okay, so we're going to go, let's see, policy number. So we're going to go down here to criteria and type is null and then just tab over and add an ascending sort on the last name field. Sort ascending. Save the changes, open a data sheet, and confirm 21 records. Save, data sheet, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Close, and we're good to go. 15, open the unique states query in Design View. So that's right at the bottom here. Modify the query to list all states only once. Okay, so what we need to do is be in the property sheet for the query. So if you look over here in property sheets, right now you see field properties. We don't want to be in the field properties property sheet. We want to be in the query property sheet. So we need to like click in the gray area to get on the entire queries property sheet. Notice once I clicked in that gray, this changed, and now it says property sheet for the query properties. So what we're looking for now is the item called unique values. So we're going to go down here to unique values. And right now it says no. But notice when we click on it, we get the drop down, which frequently happens when you click in a cell in Access. And we're going to change this to yes, because that's what's going to give us where it only lists each state once. Okay? So we're going to now go back over here and save our normal little routine here. Click Database. And then we should have 15 records here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, it worked. Notice each state is listed only once. Close, and we're good to go. Now, we are going to create a 16. This is task 16. We are going to create a CrossTab query based on the Mid-Atlantic table with the following options. So, to create a CrossTab query, we have to go into the Query Wizard. And we're going to click on CrossTab Query, and we're going to click OK. We're going to use data from the Mid-Atlantic table. And then click Next. We're going to use the state field for, state field for the row headings. We're going to use the city field for the column headings. Use a count of the customer ID field as the calculated as the calculated value for each row and column intersection. And we're going to include the row sums. Now we're going to save it using State City CrossTab as the name. Whoops, I put an underscore instead of a dash. So we're going to finish. There we go. And close. All right, 17. Export the renters table as an Excel file. So we're going up tables. Okay. So we've got renters here. All right. And you can right click, export, Excel. Okay. And with the name renters to the same folder as the one that stores your database. Okay, so wherever you save your files, that's where you should put it. So I'm going to go to here and go to Access to and click Save. Do not export the data with formatting and layout, okay? So this is what they're talking about, so don't check that box. Save the export steps using export renters as the name. We're going to save the export steps, and export renters is the name. We're not going to add a description. And then click Save. Now it says save the changes to the table and close it, but we never opened it, so all right, another page is done. We are on the last page. Task 18. Use the Import Spreadsheet Wizard to import the data from the Support Umbrella Data file. Okay, so We are going to go to external data, and you've got to be on new data source. Okay, is everybody with me? From file, and we are choosing an Excel file. All right, now you've got to browse, and you are going to go to your downloads folder, because remember I said if it's there, why move where it's at? So we go to downloads, okay, and it's right here. Actually, it's right here too because I downloaded it. It doesn't matter which one I click on, but just make sure it says umbrella data. Click open. Okay. Append. So it says append to the umbrella table. So you have to click here and go umbrella. Click OK. Click next. Do not, whoops, okay, yep. Finish. Do not save the import steps. So now we're going to open the umbrella table, and it should contain 14 records, which it does, and we're going to close it. We're going to name Pennsylvania Owners Query. Pennsylvania Owners right here. So we're going to go to rename. Pennsylvania Customers. So just replace owners with customers. Make sure you capitalize the C. Just click off of it or click somewhere else. There we go. And that way it takes. Group the objects in the navigation pane by tables and related views. So that means you're going to go up here to this drop down, and we're going to click on Table and Related Views. Save and close any objects in your database. So if you have anything open here, you shouldn't, but if you do, close it. We're going to compact and repair. File, compact and repair. It spins for a few seconds. We're going to close it. Close, and then we're going to exit access. Then we are going to submit. So we're going to click continue here. So we're at 2 of 2, and we're going to go here. And I need to go to MC, access, and here we go. And then click submit. Graded summary report is going to give you your grade. Remember that your grade is the grading report at the bottom, okay? And there you go. All right, you can see whatever you got. Now, if you make corrections, remember, don't correct them in this file. Go back to your original file that you did of your work, okay? This is the one with your grading report, so don't do it on the file that has your grading report. All right, that's it. Feel free to contact me if you have any questions. Have a great weekend. Great week, great weekend, at whatever point you're doing this.